Hey guys, welcome to Everyday Photoshop. I am not a Photoshop pro, and this isn't one of those perfect workflow channels. There's no script, there's no editing, just a regular guy who uses Photoshop all the time and had to figure things out on my own while making mistakes and learning as I go. This channel is, for normal people who want Photoshop to make sense without feeling overwhelmed. Nothing fancy, just everyday edits. So, with that being said, let's get into it. Okay, guys, with that intro out of the way, get right into this. The One of the things I get asked a lot about is cropping images. Friends ask me, relatives ask me, they have a picture that they want to print, put in a frame for whatever, 8 by 10, 4 by 6, and it may not fit that. So sometimes they want something cropped out, sometimes they just want it to fit. So either way, I'm just going to go real quick how you do that. There's a couple of different ways you can fix it. You can leave it like this if you want it to be off-centered. You can crop it that way, or if you want to rotate this to have the card flat, you can do that as part of the cropping. So the first and easiest way to do a crop is obviously you go up to the crop tool, which is over here in the toolbar. If you don't see it, you can click and hold one of these tools, and then it'll drop down. You can pick the one you want. So the crop tool is the one you want, and then it'll give you all these little handles and all these sizes. So you can crop it like this, but the problem with this is you don't really know what size you're cropping to. This doesn't tell you, hey, this image is 8 by 10. So what you want to do is undo this. You want to just hit escape to get out of the crop tool. You want to change, what we need to do is change this image to 8 by 10. So you go up to image, it's up here, and then you go down to image size. And as you can see, this image is currently 41 inches wide by 31 and some change high. And we want it to be 8 by 10. So with this selected, this will keep the aspect ratio from getting too warped. You don't want it to be out of perspective. You don't want it to look all stretched or anything like that. So you want you want to keep this on. So if you change this to, we want it to be 8 by 10, so we want it to be 10 inches wide since this is a horizontal image. Now the problem with this is the height is now under the 8 inches high we need. So you change this to 8, and then your image is over, and then we'll go in and crop the extra in a different tool. But this way we know that it's 8 by 10 resized with a little bit extra, and this way the image is going to be sized proportionally down. So you just hit OK, and as you can see, got really small. So you can come up here to your move tool to get off the crop tool, and you actually can click the zoom tool if you want to go back, and then go back to your move tool. If you press and hold the space bar, you'll get the little hand. If you hold it, then you can move this image around. So now that we're here, we know this image is not quite 8 by 10, but it's very close. So we want to adjust the canvas size to trim off the extra. So to do that, you want to go to image again, down to canvas size, because we know this image is 8 by 10 point something. We're just going to trim the point something. So you press canvas size, and then we need inches because we know we want 8 by 10. So you click this pixels, change it to inches, And now basically all we're doing is trimming the excess. So you want to have this little anchor here. You can move this anchor around to make it makes it crop from this angle out, but we want to crop it from the center so that it's equally trimmed. And then you just change this to 10, hit OK, and it trimmed a little bit from the left and the right. And if you want to see the difference, you can press undo. So it keeps everything centered. So that's how you trimmed 8 by 10. Very simple. Um, Now, another thing that you're often asked to do, I'm often asked to do, is to straighten things. So you can crop this and straighten it at the same time without making a certain size if you want, or you can crop it and straighten it to a size. I know I'm babbling, sorry. So if you click the crop tool again over here in the toolbar, you get the little handles. If you rotate this, a grid will show up and you can see I'm clicking and holding and turning. You can use the lines to try and align it and make the card straight. And what it's doing is it's keeping it inside the same perspective or aspect ratio of 8 by 10. It's not changing the proportions. So you get it to where you like it, let it go, and you can see that it turned the image and added canvas, but it crops in to make sure that you're not missing any image. It doesn't want blank spots. So that's why it zooms in. So then you hit OK, you hit press the little check mark up there, or you can hit enter and it would do the same thing. So that's one way to do it. Your image won't be 8 by 10 anymore. If you wanted it like this, you would do this step first before making 8 by 10. So now that's one way to do this. It could be straight, it might not be straight. You can check it. You see the rulers up here on the left and the top. You can click and drag a ruler down here and check it. Actually, we did pretty good. That's pretty straight. So another way to do it, I'm going to undo this so I'll show you one more way to do this. So we undo this. If you go to the crop tool again, there is up here at the top, when you click the crop tool, there's a bunch of stuff that shows up. There's this thing here called the straighten. If you click that, it gives you a little arrow icon or little crosshairs so you're going to draw a line along the thing that you want to be straight. So click on the top, whoops. You have to click and hold. Click and drag across the top and let go. And it'll basically do the same thing that you just did a minute ago. Sometimes you can do as well as we did the first time. Sometimes it's a little more difficult. The straighten tool is definitely more precise. And then, as I said before, you can click the check mark up here to stamp it, or you can press enter. So we'll just press the check mark, and there you go. So that was the crop tool and the straighten tool. And now there's one more thing we can do. The other way is the perspective crop tool. If you go up to the crop tool again, click and hold, there's the perspective crop tool here. And this is another way to straighten the card. So what you're going to do here is take the same little crosshairs, except this time you're going to outline the card by clicking on each corner. And it's going to crop the card out and straighten the card at the same time. So now that you have that, press the check and bam, card is correct. So if you wanted to crop something out of a giant image and straighten it at the same time, the perspective tool is very cool. It's very good, very quick. And that is how you do a bunch of crops. So that's going to do it for the cropping and the resizing. There are, like anything in Photoshop, there are 10 ways to do every single thing. These are the quickest and the easiest ways to do it. There are always circumstances where, you might need a different way. If you have any specific thing that you are curious about or need help with, feel free to post a comment and I will try to address it and tell you how to do it, or maybe I'll make a video on how to do that. So with that being said, that'll do it, and I will hopefully catch you guys next time. Thanks a lot.